Welcome to this week's edition of Morning Line, the USTA's weekly news magazine. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Allison Conte.
Yonkers Raceway hosted a pair of Triple Crown races this past Saturday with the $500,000 Yonkers Trot and the $500,000 Messenger Stakes. Habitat was victorious in the Yonkers Trot for 3-year-olds and won 54-4 by 3.5 lengths with Brian Sears in the bike. The winner is trained by Ron Burke and owned by Burke Racing Stable, Our Horse Sense Stables, and Weaver Brusemi. It was the 7th win in 14 starts this year for the son of Conway Hall, Habit's Best. His $250,000 share of the purse pushed him to $570,434 in 2015 winnings and $1,104,841 in career earnings. Habitat returns to Yonkers this Saturday in the New York Sire Stakes final, one of 4 New York Sire Stakes championships at the Hilltop Oval.
There were 3 horses fanned out across the track in the final strides of the $500,000 Messenger Stakes for 3-year-old pacing Golts and Geldings, but Revenge Shark and Yannick Gingras won the second leg of the pacing Triple Crown. Dudes the Man was second and In the Arsenal was third. The win, by just a nose, came in 153-1 for the Cam's Card Shark Western Top Cat colt, trained by Tony Alagna for owners Alagna Racing and Bradley Grant. It was his 4th win in 17 starts this year and puts his career earnings at $425,107.
State Treasurer added to his dream season this past Saturday night with a 147-4 victory in the Canadian Pacing Derby at Mohawk Racetrack. Driven by Randy Waples, State Treasurer showed his grit and determination to secure the lead at the half and pulled away through wicked fractions to win the historic $513,750 Canadian Pacing Derby. Shambhala used his impressive closing speed to come from last to finish second, while Limelight Beach finished third. Just a $6,500 purchase as a yearling, State Treasurer is in the midst of a career-best season with more than $760,000 earned in 2015. Owned by Sally McDonald and Paul McDonald, State Treasurer now has 29 career victories and increased his earnings to nearly $1.7 million. State Treasurer will race this Saturday at Scioto Downs in the Jim Ewart Memorial. More on that race later in the show.
It's a really deep field of horses, and they're all fast and they're all tough at this level. And you know, when you go into these races, you got to respect everybody else, and that's what I was doing just to see how it was going to play out. It's been a long time since I drove him, but I know when you ask him to pace, he can go very, very fast and very, very quick. So when I seen the way it was setting up at the half, I took a shot, and it just worked out for me.
It's been a memorable night.
Well, he's just aged and matured, and training him differently this year. In fact, I'm not training him much at all, just jogging him in between races and turning him out every day, you know. So he's excelled on that, and he's really got gritty, and he, like I said to Randy, he likes to be driven aggressively lately, and he excels by that. And when he got out front there, I knew it was going to be tough for the rest of them to catch him.
Control the Moment, driven by Randy Waples, also remained undefeated in his rookie campaign after capturing the $513,750 Metro Pace for 2-year-olds on Saturday night at Mohawk. The heavily favored Control the Moment notched his 7th straight victory for trainer Brad Maxwell, who shares ownership of the colt with Howard Taylor, Edwin Gold, and Ben Mudry. Control the Moment was under wraps in deep stretch, and the brown colt breezed by the wire with a 2¼ length margin of victory and stopped the clock in a new lifetime mark of 149-4. Betting Line finished second and Veracity was third. The Harness Racing Fan Zone released their newest harness racing promotional video, Horsepower Built America, showcasing the contributions of the standardbred breed over the last 200 years in just over 5 minutes. If you are a fan of harness racing, you seriously need to check this video out, and if you're anything like me, you're probably going to watch it again and again. So instead of asking you a question, this week I'm encouraging you to watch the video and share it on social media and let us know why you love harness racing.
Free-for-all trotters and pacers will be in the limelight this weekend, both north and south of the border. At Mohawk, the Maple Leaf Trot has attracted an all-star international group of 14 older trotters, including mares DeOne and Be a Magician. The 64th edition of the race will feature 2 $40,000 7-horse eliminations. The top 5 finishers from each elimination will punch their ticket to the final. Swedish trotting mare De One will look to remain undefeated on North American soil in the second elimination. The Roger Wallman trainee is a perfect 2 for 2 this summer in the United States, but the Maple Leaf Trot will be her first attempt against the boys. Also in that race will be Intimidate, last year's Maple Leaf Trot winner, who is back to defend his title. The Luke Blaze trainee is yet to find the winner's circle this season, but the 6-year-old gelding was a surprise winner in last year's event at 45 to 1. JL Cruz, the fastest trotter ever on a mile track, highlights the first elimination. The connections of the world champion put up $45,000 to supplement the 4-year-old gelding to this year's Maple Leaf Trot. Be a Magician, the 2013 Horse of the Year, will take on the boys in that first elimination. The daughter of Cadabra has 8 victories in 11 starts this season, including a victory over her male rivals in the Cutler. The Richard Nifty Norman trainee has earned $517,645 this season to increase her career bankroll to more than $3.2 million.
Scioto Downs will feature both trotters and pacers this weekend in the Jim Ewart Memorial for pacers and the Chip Noble Memorial for trotters. As mentioned earlier, State Treasurer will look to add another Grand Circuit trophy to his mantle when he takes on a field of 10 in the Ewart. Among his challengers will be All Bets Off, the winner of the Confederation Cup and the Prix d'Été, Levy Series victor Do Me That Again, Graduate Series champion Doo Wop Hanover, and last year's Little Brown Jug winner Limelight Beach, who finished 3rd to State Treasurer in the Canadian Pacing Derby. The 8 horses in the Noble will be led off by Wind of the North, who represented the United States in this year's Elite Lop, the Darrell Beer trainee coming off a 53-3 score in an overnight event at Pocono. Also in the field is Goral Hanover, the runner-up in this year's John Cashman Memorial at the Meadowlands. And speaking of Scioto Downs, on Labor Day, the fractional ownership group Horseplay Racing Stable concluded their 2015 season, as this is the last week of racing at Scioto until next May. Talk about going out with a bang. Northern River won in 52-2, his 3rd straight win for the group. If you'd like to get involved in racehorse ownership, there are still opportunities available this year with Summer Slam Stable at the Meadows, and you can always keep up with Horseplay Racing Stable until next season on Facebook.
I love owning a horse, and this just makes it easy that we don't have to have the stress of hauling the horse, shoeing the horse, the daily feeds. Yeah, this is great.
Partners.
Well, I just contacted mostly my friends and people that overheard us talking about it, asked questions about it, and lo and behold, as the summer went along, it kept adding up.
Oh, I enjoy it. It's so much more interesting to come out and actually have a horse to root for that's partially yours. It's really tremendous.
In this week's edition of Paul's Paddock Picks, I will take a look at the Jim Ewart Memorial at Scioto Downs. State Treasurer has been at the front of this division for most of the year, and I think he will be the horse to beat in the Ewart. He has won 4 straight, including the U.S. Pacing Championship, Roll with Joe, and Canadian Pacing Derby. Ohio's own David Miller returns home to drive for trainer Ian Moore. It's been a bit of a rough season for Limelight Beach, but he put together an impressive effort in finishing 3rd to State Treasurer in the Canadian Pacing Derby last week. The Ron Burt trainee rallied from 7th at the 3/4 to end up 3 3/4 lengths back of the winner. Chris Page, one of the top drivers at Scioto, gets the call this week on Limelight Beach. Doo Wop Hanover has had a solid year, winning the Graduate and finishing 2nd to State Treasurer in the U.S. Pacing Championship and 4th in the Roll with Joe after racing from the back of the pack. This will be his first start since the August 23rd Roll with Joe, and I think with a good trip he will contend. Ronnie Wren Jr. gets the call for trainer Steve Elliott. So once again in the Jim Ewart Memorial, I am going with State Treasurer to win, Limelight Beach to place, and Doo Wop Hanover to show.
This week's tweet of the week comes from harness racing photographer Brad Conrad. @PacerPhoto tweeted, "Why I love harness racing. 86-year-old man and 18-year-old girl drivers battled down the stretch. By the way, 18-year-old girl won." Brad also managed to capture a great shot from that race at the Richwood Fair in Ohio.
The historic Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. Hear the echoes of champions past and the thunder of present superstars. Fantastic finishes, super sales, and the nightlife of a metropolitan area with all the amenities. The Grand Circuit at the Red Mile, September 30th through October 10th, harness racing's greatest tradition.
That'll do it for this week's edition of Morning Line. Thanks for joining us, and tune in next week for all your behind-the-scenes harness racing action,
including a look at the Maple Leaf Trot and the Canadian Trotting Classic finals at Mohawk. We'll see you next week on the Morning Line.